You just spent £60 on flowers for your mum's birthday. What arrived looked like it had been dragged through a hedge backwards. 3 roses were already dead. The rest died the next day. And when you tried to complain, the company told you it was your fault. This is happening to thousands of people across the UK right now. The online flower industry is one of the biggest scams in retail. Companies are selling you flowers that are 3 weeks old, charging premium prices for petrol station quality, and using tactics that border on fraud. I've spent weeks going undercover in this industry. I've spoken to delivery drivers who've seen what happens to your flowers, former employees who've revealed shocking secrets, and florists who are disgusted by what these companies get away with. What I'm about to show you will make you never order flowers online again. Number 8. Bloom & Wild. Let's start with Bloom & Wild. They're everywhere online. Their advertising is slick, and they promise letterbox flowers that arrive fresh. The reality is very different. Bloom & Wild flowers are shipped through the postal system in cardboard boxes. The flowers are compressed, folded, and squeezed into letterbox-sized packaging. This causes significant physical damage even before they reach you. A former florist told me, "Letterbox flowers are a terrible idea. Flowers are delicate living things. Compressing them into flat boxes breaks stems, damages petals, and stresses the plants. By the time they reach customers, they're already dying." The flowers Bloom & Wild uses are also the cheapest available. They source from massive commercial farms in Kenya, Colombia, and Ecuador, where workers are paid poverty wages and exposed to dangerous pesticides without protection. Look at the reviews carefully. Thousands of customers report flowers arriving wilted, broken, or already dead. Bloom & Wild's response is always the same: blame the postal service or offer a small discount on the next order. They never take responsibility for selling an inherently flawed product. The packaging is also wasteful. Each delivery involves a cardboard box, plastic wrapping around the stems, elastic bands, and various inserts. For a product marketed as eco-friendly, the waste is enormous. Most of this packaging isn't recyclable despite its claims. An employee told me about the storage conditions. The flowers sit in warehouses for days before being shipped. Temperature control is poor. By the time they're packaged and sent, they've already been out of water for too long. We knew the flowers wouldn't last, but we sent them anyway. The prices are also inflated. A Bloom & Wild bouquet costs £40 to £60. You can buy better quality flowers from a local florist for £30. You're paying for marketing and convenience, not quality. The letterbox concept is purely a gimmick. It sounds convenient until you realize that convenience comes at the cost of flower quality. Real florists deliver properly arranged bouquets in water. Bloom & Wild delivers crushed stems in a box. When I ordered from Bloom & Wild, the flowers arrived bent and damaged. I followed their instructions to condition them by cutting stems and placing them in water. 3 flowers were dead within a day. The rest lasted 4 days. A proper bouquet should last at least a week. Number 7. Interflora. Interflora has been around since 1923. They trade on that heritage and reputation. But the modern Interflora has nothing to do with quality flowers and everything to do with extracting maximum profit from a network of franchised florists. Here's how Interflora works. You order online, paying premium prices. Interflora takes a massive commission, sometimes 50% or more. Then they pass the order to a local florist who has to fulfill it for whatever's left after Interflora takes their cut. A florist told me, "Interflora orders are the worst. We get maybe half of what the customer paid. We're expected to create the arrangement shown in the photo, but we don't have enough budget. So we have to use cheaper flowers, fewer stems, or smaller sizes. The customer never gets what they saw online. The quality control is non-existent. Interflora doesn't verify that member florists are actually delivering what was promised. Complaints are common, and Interflora's response is always to blame the local florist, never taking responsibility themselves. The pricing is deliberately misleading. You see that bouquet advertised for £45? By the time you add delivery fees, service charges, and various surcharges, you're paying £65. The final price is never clear until you're at checkout. Interflora also pressures florists to accept orders they can't properly fulfill. We'd get orders for arrangements that required flowers we didn't have in stock. Interflora would pressure us to substitute, but the substitutions were always worse. Customers would complain and we'd take the blame while Interflora kept their commission. The website shows professionally photographed arrangements that no local florist can replicate. The photos show expensive flowers arranged by professional designers. What you receive is whatever your local florist can create with their limited budget from Interflora's commission. The company has also been caught in multiple scandals. They've been fined for misleading pricing, forced to apologize for failed Mother's Day deliveries, and sued by franchise florists for unfair contract terms. This isn't a trustworthy company. When I ordered from Interflora, I paid £58 for a luxury bouquet. What arrived was a small arrangement of carnations and chrysanthemums worth maybe £15 wholesale. The arrangement looked nothing like the website photo. It was insulting. Number 6. Moonpig Flowers. Moonpig started as a greeting card company and expanded into flowers. They should have stayed with cards. Their flower service is appalling. Moonpig doesn't have florists. They don't arrange flowers. They're a middleman that takes your money, keeps a huge commission, and outsources the actual work to random flower suppliers. You have no idea who's actually fulfilling your order. A delivery driver told me, Moonpig orders come from different suppliers every time. Some days it's one company, next week it's different. The quality varies wildly. Some suppliers are decent, most are terrible. It's a lottery. The flowers are also sitting in distribution centers for days before delivery. Moonpig promises next day delivery, but that's from their warehouse, not from when the flowers were cut. Those flowers might be a week old before you receive them. Look at Trustpilot reviews. Moonpig Flowers has thousands of one-star reviews, dead flowers, missing deliveries, wrong orders, and terrible customer service. The complaints are overwhelming. Yet they continue operating because people recognize the Moonpig brand from cards. The packaging is minimal. Flowers arrive in cheap cellophane with no care for presentation. You're paying premium prices for petrol station flower quality. An industry insider told me, Moonpig sees flowers as an add-on revenue stream. They don't care about quality. They just want to capture the market of people ordering cards who might also buy flowers. It's a cash grab with no concern for customer satisfaction. The pricing is also deceptive. Flowers are advertised at one price, but delivery fees are extortionate. A £30 bouquet costs £45 after delivery. You're paying a 50% markup for delivery from a company with terrible reliability. Number 5. Prestige Flowers. Prestige Flowers sounds upscale. The name suggests quality. The reality is they're one of the worst flower companies operating in the UK. They use a business model designed to maximize profit while minimizing quality. Flowers are sourced as cheaply as possible from overseas farms, stored in UK warehouses, and shipped out with minimal quality control. An employee told me, Prestige Flowers is all about volume. We'd process hundreds of orders per day. Quality didn't matter. Speed mattered. Get the flowers packed and out the door. If customers complained, we'd offer them a £10 voucher and hope they went away. The flowers arrive in terrible condition. Reviews consistently mention wilted flowers, brown edges, broken stems, and blooms that never open. This isn't occasional bad luck. It's systematic because of their business model. Prestige Flowers also engages in aggressive discounting that should be a red flag. They're always running 70% off sales. If flowers are always 70% off, that's not a sale. That's the real price inflated to make discounts look appealing. The luxury ranges are particularly deceptive. You pay £60 for a luxury bouquet, expecting premium flowers. What arrives is standard. Roses and fillers identical to their £30 range. The only difference is the box. They also use subscription models to lock customers into recurring payments. Many customers report difficulty cancelling subscriptions, with charges continuing long after cancellation requests. This is borderline fraudulent. The environmental claims are also false. Prestige Flowers markets itself as eco-friendly, but their flowers are flown thousands of miles from South America and Africa. The carbon footprint is enormous. Air freighting flowers is one of the most environmentally damaging agricultural practices. When I ordered from Prestige Flowers, the bouquet arrived with 3 dead roses and wilted foliage. The remaining flowers lasted 3 days. The luxury arrangement I paid £55 for was worth maybe £12 retail. I felt scammed. If you're shocked by what you've heard so far, hit that subscribe button. The final brand on this list is the absolute worst, and what I'm about to reveal will make you never want to order flowers online again. Subscribe so you know the truth before you waste your money. Number 4. Arena Flowers. Arena Flowers positions itself as the ethical, sustainable choice. They claim to be carbon neutral, environmentally friendly, and fairly traded. Most of these claims are exaggerated or false. The carbon neutral claim is achieved through offsets, not by actually reducing emissions. They still air freight flowers from overseas, creating massive carbon emissions, then buy carbon credits to offset this. It's greenwashing, not genuine environmental action. A sustainability expert told me carbon offsets are largely meaningless. Companies use them to claim environmental credentials while continuing polluting practices. Arena Flowers flies flowers thousands of miles, which is terrible for the environment, then buys cheap offsets to claim they're carbon neutral. The fair trade claims are also questionable. Arena Flowers sources from some fair trade farms, but many of their flowers come from conventional farms with no fair trade certification. They highlight the few fair trade sources while quietly sourcing the majority conventionally. The quality is inconsistent. Some Arena Flowers deliveries are decent, others are terrible. This inconsistency shows poor quality control and suggests they're using whatever suppliers offer the lowest prices at any given time. The pricing is premium because of their ethical positioning. You're paying £40 to £70 for bouquets that should cost £30. The premium is supposedly for ethics and sustainability, but as we've seen, those claims are largely marketing. Employee reviews of Arena Flowers paint a picture of a company focused on image over substance. They invest heavily in marketing their green credentials while cutting corners on actual practices. It's all about the brand, not about genuinely being better. Number 3. Flying Flowers. Flying Flowers is a disaster. They're one of the worst reviewed flower companies in the UK, yet they continue operating because they advertise heavily and people keep falling for it. The name Flying Flowers refers to their business model. Flowers flown from overseas, stored in UK warehouses and sent via courier. Every step of this process damages the flowers. A former employee told me the flowers would arrive from overseas already stressed from the flight. We'd unpack them, some would already be dying, we'd put them in cold storage, then pack them again for delivery. By the time customers received them, the flowers had been through hell. The cold storage is inadequate. Flowers need specific temperature and humidity controls. Flying Flowers uses basic refrigeration that doesn't properly maintain these conditions. The flowers deteriorate rapidly in storage. Look at the Trustpilot rating. Flying Flowers has one of the lowest ratings of any flower company. Thousands of reviews describe dead flowers, missing deliveries, wrong orders, and customer service that refuses to help. The subscription trap is particularly nasty. Flying Flowers pushes subscriptions hard with promises of regular flower deliveries. But customers report being unable to cancel, being charged after cancelling, and receiving progressively worse quality as the subscription continues. The bouquets are also much smaller than advertised. Photos show lush, full arrangements. What arrives is a handful of stems that look nothing like the photos. This is deliberate, false advertising. The company has been subject to multiple investigations by trading standards and consumer protection agencies. They've been forced to change practices multiple times due to complaints, yet they continue operating with minimal improvements. When I ordered from Flying Flowers, the delivery was 3 days late. When it finally arrived, half the flowers were brown and dead. The rest died within 2 days. The arrangement looked nothing like the website photos. It was the worst flower purchase I've ever made. Number 2. Serenata Flowers. Serenata Flowers operates on a similar model to Flying Flowers, but somehow manages to be even worse. They're a company that seems to exist purely to disappoint customers and take their money. The flowers are sourced from the absolute cheapest suppliers available. Quality is irrelevant, price is everything. This means you're getting flowers rejected by better companies, flowers that are too old to sell elsewhere, flowers that should have been thrown away. An industry insider told me, Serenata Flowers buys whatever is cheapest on the day. No consistency, no quality standards. If one supplier is offering roses at rock-bottom prices because they're about to go bad, Serenata buys them and sends them to customers. The delivery system is also terrible. Serenata uses the cheapest courier services, which treat flower boxes like any other package. Flowers arrive crushed, frozen in winter, or cooked in summer. The couriers have no training in handling delicate flowers. Customer service is non-existent. Try to complain and you'll face automated responses, long wait times, and representatives who are clearly instructed to offer minimal compensation. They'll offer you a £5 voucher for a £50 order of dead flowers. The subscription model is again used to trap customers. Serenata Flowers makes it difficult to cancel subscriptions. You have to call during limited hours, navigate through multiple retention attempts, and even then, charges often continue. The luxury options are particularly insulting. I compared their standard and luxury bouquets side by side. The luxury bouquet had 3 more stems and slightly bigger roses. For this, they charged an additional £30. The difference in actual value was maybe £5 wholesale. Serenata also engages in fake urgency tactics. Their website constantly shows countdown timers and only X left messages. These are false. The timers reset. The stock limitations are invented. It's all designed to pressure you into buying quickly without researching. The company has also been caught using fake reviews. Multiple investigations found they were paying for positive reviews while suppressing negative ones. The reviews you see on their website are curated to hide the truth. When I ordered from Serenata, the flowers arrived 2 days late, despite paying for next-day delivery. The bouquet was half the size shown in the photos. 4 stems were completely dead. The rest lasted 3 days maximum. For this, I paid £60. It was daylight robbery. Number 1. Bunches. And here we are. The worst flower brand in the UK, Bunches. A company so terrible that florists tell me they're shocked it's still operating. Bunches uses the absolute worst business model in the flower industry. They're a middleman with no florists, no quality control, and no accountability. They take your money, keep a massive commission, and farm out the work to whoever will do it cheapest. An industry expert told me, Bunches is what happens when you apply Amazon's marketplace model to flowers. Multiple suppliers, no consistency, race to the bottom on price, and customers left with no recourse when things go wrong. It's a terrible model for fresh flowers. The quality is the worst I've encountered. Bunches flowers arrive already dying, brown petals, wilted stems, blooms that never open. This is because the flowers are weeks old by the time they reach you. Here's how Bunches operates. They buy flowers in bulk from overseas. These flowers might be 2 weeks old already. They store them in UK warehouses with inadequate climate control. Then they package and ship them via the slowest, cheapest courier available. By the time you receive them, they're 3 to 4 weeks old. The packaging is terrible. Flowers arrive in flimsy boxes that provide no protection. Stems are broken, heads are crushed, and water tubes leak. It's clear that no one involved in the process cares about the flowers arriving in good condition. Customer service is the worst in the industry. Bunches has a policy of denying all complaints initially. You have to fight for any resolution. They'll demand photos from multiple angles, question whether you followed care instructions, and suggest the flowers were fine when they left. Even when they admit fault, compensation is minimal. A former employee revealed the internal culture. Management's view was that flowers are high-margin products. Even if 20% of orders failed completely, we'd still make profit on the other 80%. Customer satisfaction wasn't a priority. Minimizing refunds was. The subscription trap is the most aggressive in the industry. Bunches makes cancellation nearly impossible. You have to call during business hours, wait on hold for an hour, navigate through aggressive retention tactics, and even then, they often claim cancellation didn't process. Charges continue for months. The luxury range is pure fiction. I ordered both standard and luxury bouquets from Bunches. They were identical, except the luxury came in a slightly nicer box. The flowers were the same. The arrangement was the same, but the luxury cost £40 more. Bunches also sells completely inappropriate flowers. I received lilies in a bouquet that was supposed to be pet safe. Lilies are extremely toxic to cats, causing kidney failure and death. When I complained, they said I should have known to keep them away from pets. This is dangerous negligence. The company has been subject to numerous complaints to trading standards. They've been investigated multiple times for misleading pricing, false advertising, and unfair contract terms. Yet they continue operating with minimal changes. The environmental impact is also terrible. Bunches air freights flowers from the other side of the world, packages them in non-recyclable materials, and ships them via diesel couriers. Their carbon footprint per bouquet is enormous. Any environmental claims they make are pure greenwashing. When I ordered from Bunches, it was the worst flower experience I've ever had. The delivery was 4 days late. The flowers arrived crushed and mostly dead. What wasn't dead initially died within 24 hours. The arrangement looked nothing like the photos. It was half the size, had different flowers, terrible quality. I tried to get a refund. Customer service was hostile and unhelpful. They demanded I prove the flowers were damaged by sending photos from multiple angles. When I did, they claimed the photos didn't show sufficient damage. They offered me a £10 voucher for my next order. I'd paid £70 for flowers that were garbage. The most disturbing part is how many people Bunches scams. They have thousands of one-star reviews describing identical experiences. Dead flowers, late deliveries, wrong orders, no refunds. Yet they continue operating because new customers keep arriving who haven't done their research. The company also targets vulnerable moments: Mother's Day, Valentine's Day, funerals, birthdays. These are times when people are emotional and need flowers urgently. Bunches exploits this vulnerability by promising quick delivery and quality flowers, then delivering garbage and refusing refunds. A florist told me, Bunches is everything wrong with the online flower industry. They've removed the skill and care from floristry and replaced it with a cynical race to the bottom. Real florists arrange flowers with love and skill. Bunches just processes orders and doesn't care if customers are disappointed. The business model is fundamentally broken. You cannot deliver quality, fresh flowers through the Bunches model. Flowers need care, proper storage, quick delivery, and skilled arrangement. Bunches provides none of this. They're selling disappointment wrapped in cellophane. So, what should you do after hearing this? Avoid all 8 of these brands completely. They're scamming customers with poor quality flowers and terrible service. Instead, buy from local independent florists who arrange fresh flowers daily, or use services like Bloom and Wild's competitors that actually care about quality. Arena's ethical alternatives that deliver on their promises, or better yet, visit a local flower market. Real florists create beautiful arrangements from fresh flowers. Online brands just deliver disappointment. Your money deserves better. Have you been scammed by any of these brands? Share your flower disaster stories in the comments. And if this saved you from wasting money, share it with everyone you know. They're ordering flowers too. Subscribe for more consumer protection investigations, because companies like these rely on you not knowing the truth. See you at the next one.